Welcome to an in-depth look at kernel exploitation, a critical area in cybersecurity that reveals the deepest vulnerabilities of a system. This technique allows attackers to bypass standard protections and gain control at the operating system's core level. At the heart of every operating system lies the kernel, a privileged core that manages all system resources and operations, including process scheduling, memory management, and hardware interactions. It operates in kernel space, a highly protected memory region isolated from the less privileged user space, where everyday applications and user programs execute their tasks. This separation is fundamental for system security, ensuring that user applications cannot directly interfere with critical system functions, thereby preventing most malicious activities from escalating. Drivers are essential software components that allow the kernel to communicate with hardware devices, extending the kernel's functionality to support diverse peripherals. They act as a bridge, translating high-level kernel commands into low-level hardware instructions for peripherals like graphics cards, network adapters, storage devices, and USB controllers. However, due to their privileged access to both kernel space and hardware, along with their often complex and third-party developed code, drivers are frequently targeted by attackers seeking elevation of privileges. A single vulnerability in a driver can provide a direct pathway to kernel-level control, bypassing many security measures such as user mode restrictions and exploit mitigations. Let's explore a conceptual example of how an attacker might exploit a vulnerable signed driver, a common vector in real-world attacks on Windows and other systems. First, the attacker identifies a legitimate signed driver that contains a flaw, such as a buffer overflow vulnerability or an unvalidated input that leads to arbitrary memory writes. Even though the driver is signed by a trusted certificate authority, verifying its authenticity but not its code quality, its inherent vulnerability can still be leveraged by skilled attackers. The attacker then crafts malicious input, like specially formatted data packets or IOCTL requests, designed to trigger this specific vulnerability within the driver during normal operation. This input, when processed by the driver in kernel mode, causes it to behave unexpectedly, often leading to memory corruption such as stack overflows or heap spraying. By carefully controlling this corruption through techniques like ROP chains or precise heap grooming, the attacker can overwrite critical kernel data structures or even inject their own shellcode. This technique allows them to execute arbitrary code with the highest level of privilege, kernel level, granting unrestricted access to all system resources and user data. Once kernel-level access is achieved, the attacker effectively gains complete control over the entire system, from reading sensitive memory to disabling security software. This can lead to severe consequences like large-scale data theft, unauthorized system manipulation, ransomware deployment, or the installation of persistent rootkits that evade antivirus detection. Understanding these exploitation techniques is crucial for cybersecurity professionals and students developing robust defenses, such as driver signature enforcement and advanced mitigations like KPP. Stay vigilant, stay informed, and continue to strengthen your cybersecurity posture against such advanced persistent threats by auditing drivers and applying timely patches.